We are still in the week of Silksong, so it's a smaller week of releases as compared to normal, where you're either massive like Borderlands 4 or just crazy enough to try. So a salute to our indie dev heroes this week, beginning with Orcdom, a minimalist tower defense title having an art style which has now been dubbed Pixel Art, where your goal is to protect a lone crystal from relentless waves of orcs attacking from every direction using precision and strategic placement of towers. You can place towers anywhere within range and are not limited to a grid, allowing for dynamic and creative defensive layouts, even giving you the ability to nudge structures into place. It's classic tower defense stuff, so select from a range of towers and find powerful combos like freeze towers to slow enemies, crossbow towers for straight up damage, spell towers, and more. One concern might be the amount of content, since they're only talking about having 5 levels, each with distinct environmental effects like snow or desert, but not much more than that. But if you love the genre like me, this might be a neat little experience. I last covered Master of Luna when previewing Games of the Month, and one of you in the comments mentioned that it reminded you of Master of Magic and is a similar 4X turn-based strategy game in a fantasy setting, where you play as a half-forgotten deity seeking to reclaim your former dominion. Lead your troops and conquer settlements to win, having some awesome minimalist pixel art which I certainly appreciate. This video is brought to you by the Spirit Engine DX, a world-spanning tactical auto-battler which takes inspiration from JRPGs but has real-time with pause combat, actually being a complete remake of a cult classic game from 2003. Form a party of 3 characters from a roster of 9, with the characters being one of 3 classes in Mage, Rifleman, and Priest, each offering unique playstyles and have combo potential with each other. These characters are not generic grunt units, instead having their own personalities and will interact with each other, in turn affecting the combat and narrative. Characters fire off abilities and attacks on cooldown, but you can directly influence them via your inputs with this remake version, adding an all-new absurd difficulty mode with exclusive content, so if curious, check out their free demo on Steam and wishlist the game. Cozy Organizer is a tranquil sandbox organizing sim where you're creating harmony in cluttered spaces by arranging, decorating, and stacking items, exactly like those soothing organizing videos that you see on social media and can be rather satisfying. You are tidying pantries, closets, and shelves in playful, colourful environments, unlocking new items and layouts by completing relaxing, low-pressure organizing tasks at your own pace. Delightful visuals, humorous little surprises, and hundreds of unique items makes this look like a joy, following in the footsteps of games like Unpacking or A Little to the Left, but with their own adorable art style, so if you feel stressed out and need a breather, a tinkering kind of game like this would be pretty suitable. Moving on to something very different is NetherWorld, a surreal pixel art action-adventure platformer where you play as Medu, a heartbroken jellyfish drowning his sorrow in vodka after being abandoned by his wife, and must now claw through a grotesque underworld to piece his life back together. Plunge into a decadent, nightmarish world filled with absurd misfits from cocaine magicians, mobsters, sociopathic kids, sleazy elders, and more, all while somehow surviving brutal boss encounters in side-scrolling platforming action using whatever weapons or crude items you can find, or even just your bare tentacles. Between your main quests, there are bizarre minigames from drinking contests to brawls or even controlling a tick named Joe through underground roguelike mazes, so to say it's very weird would be an understatement. It does have a touch of some adult themes, so have a look at the content warning before deciding on whether or not to get this, and it's definitely unique to say the least. Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. Starfire Eternal Cycle is a relentless action roguelite brawler, one that looks more similar to a beat-em-up rather than a platformer for a top-down title, which is interesting to note. Battle waves of alien insectoids in slick side-scrolling action using dodge, dash, and combo attacks that look pretty awesome and satisfying to execute. in roguelite fashion. Each run throws randomized skills, branching paths, secret rooms, and mini challenges at you as you craft a build for the run with a variety of elemental attacks and powers across 8 types, as well as a variety of primary and secondary weapons. Between runs, collect resources to unlock powerful permanent upgrades, new skins and gear that increases your power over time, where there have been but a handful of successful roguelite beat-em-ups, so let's see if this will make the cut.
It's great to be here. What a day for football.
Other games begin with Backyard Football 99, a modernized version of an actual game from 1999, so what is old is new again. This is a game about kids playing American football in their backyard, which I'm told was/is still a thing, but seems to have some actual NFL players in this, so probably something was weird with the licensing back then which allows them to do this, although notably the NFL team logos have been removed. You are playing in a backyard football league, either playing single matches or diving into season mode as you draft 7 players, competing across a 14-game regular season and aim for the Super Colossal Cereal Bowl. There are power-ups and other fun elements in this, not being a simulation but an arcade title instead, looking cute, wholesome and fun, and might be worth your time. The review of Bubsy 4D during Gamescom kind of broke some people, since the character, infamously, talked too much and had a couple of terrible games, with this whole revival being spearheaded by Modern Atari, who are also the publishers of Bubsy in the Purrfect collection. This is a collection of 4 classic Bubsy games diving into the franchise's legacy through remastered experiences with an archival curation of related assets and media. This includes Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Third Kind, Bubsy 2, Bubsy in Fractured Furry Tales, and Bubsy 3D, all updated for modern hardware using Limited Run Games' Carbon engine. Improved resolution, frame rate enhancements, save states, rewind functionality, and graphical filter options like scan lines add to the experience. With a museum filled with original art, ads, manuals, video interviews, and other artifacts that reveals more about Bubsy's turbulent history. So whether you're a fan or are just morbidly curious, this will be of interest. An eerie puzzle adventure game is Gloomy Eyes, in which a zombie boy named Gloomy and a resourceful human girl named Nina form a forbidden bond, having to work together to bring back the sun to a world swallowed by night. You switch between the 2 characters, using each of their unique abilities to solve environmental puzzles across handcrafted, rotatable diorama levels that radiate macabre charm. These miniature dioramas are inspired by Tim Burton's gothic whimsy, beckoning you to explore from multiple angles to unearth secrets and hidden paths. An old gravekeeper is the narrator in this game, being your companion to the story, deepening your understanding of this world and the fragile hope that our heroes hold in their hearts. It is not quite the time of year for it, but it is officially fall after all, which is in the ballpark. But do also note that this is not a co-op title and has no multiplayer support. A charming hand-drawn open-world party-based RPG is Heroes of the 7 Islands, where 4 heroes must gather 7 magical keys from the rulers of the Emerald Archipelago to stop Purrfect the Indestructible, a soulless monstrosity spreading despair across the realm. You navigate a non-linear fairy tale world featuring villages, dungeons, swamps, forests, caves, and temples, with fluid, turn-based combat that unfolds at a brisk pace, and game design which encourages exploration and adaptability. Exploration mixes point-and-click navigation with strategic encounters, giving you the freedom to pursue the main quest or to uncover side missions at your own pace. This takes place across 7 distinct biomes and provides hundreds of unique hand-drawn illustrations that gives it a whimsical charm, where the UI does remind me of Kingdom of Loathing, which I absolutely adore, making this the hidden gem of the week. It is perhaps no coincidence that Regista Reign Your Football Club is titled as such, since this high-stakes football club management title seems to have a lot in common with the card-based kingdom management game Reigns, down to having 4 metrics to keep track of in fans, money, media, and team, which must be balanced, since if any of them reach 100 or 0, will result in either a game over or heavy punishment, as well as presenting you with 2 options for every scenario. However, applying it to a sports sim is different, and given the global appeal of the beautiful game, could have something to this. Take the helm of an amateur team and lead it from the bottom leagues to the top through calculated choices and cunning strategy. Make tough choices like firing stuff or turning a blind eye to player actions off the field in light of the bigger picture, and as a full management sim down to having a transfer window and managing player trade and drafting, to the, shall we say, seedier underbelly of football politics, looking like quite the intriguing prospect. This next title is interesting since Soul Slasher is a free title with microtransactions, a style of game which I don't usually cover but looks kind of decent, having visual similarities to modern ARPGs, but is instead a visceral, intense 1v1 dueling title. Defeat your opponent in combat to earn freedom from the arena of judgment, with gameplay adding in elements from multiplayer party games like Overcooked in terms of physics and the ability to knock your opponent off the stage. The arenas are ever shifting with randomized obstacles, traps, buffs and debuffs, which offers a fresh experience every time. So it is not just about skill but also adaptability. This will have 3 character classes but no meta progression or RPG elements as far as I can tell, and will be multiplayer only, which means that a player base will be necessary, so I don't know if it will get one, but it's interesting to see them try. The developer of the Bleakest Keep reached out and I thought it looked weird and interesting enough to be of note, being a grim action horror roguelite where you need to climb the keep's cursed tower, defeat the dark wizard Cormac, and save your kingdom from damnation. Fight through 4 gothic levels, facing undead horrors like zombies, vampires and more, using everything from bows and shotguns to frying pans and rocket launchers. You are aided by Juliet, a sorceress who sells upgrades, crafts new weapons or strengthens your abilities, with a character design that I think has to be inspired by Cordelia from Dead Estate, intending for a similar kind of effect, with the game looking kind of jank but oddly charming at the same time. You would probably be surprised at the number of games on Steam riffing on the trolley problem ethical dilemma, with the trolley solution being the next entry, where you play through quirky puzzles with each level posing a twisted moral dilemma which then gleefully subverts your expectations. You tackle 20 creative variations, with each puzzle turning serious philosophy into darkly humorous puzzles like reassembling broken tracks under pressure or having to calm down a commuter whose emotional state is derailed by social media. I don't know if there's a fail state, so to speak, so it might not be a puzzle game in the traditional sense, just having you live with the consequences of your action, but it looks like a humorous title that will make you think. Speaking of trains, well, not quite the trolley, but let's just roll with it. An explosive incremental strategy title is Trainatic, where you build and upgrade an ever-growing train to journey further along the tracks while uncovering powerful synergies. You start with a tiny engine and add cars loaded with abilities, each linked via an upgrade skill tree, crafting combos that transforms your locomotive into a screen-clearing force of nature. Gather resources, unlock new car types, and expand your might through their extensive upgrade system. Interestingly, this seems to be Vampire Survivors inspired by the number of projectiles flying out of your train, but it's an incremental title, i.e. a clicker, being satisfying in that numbers go up kind of way. This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox. Chrono Gear Warden of Time will be of note since Galaxy Trail creators of Freedom Planet, is listed as a developer on this, and it's a kinetic 2D action platformer where you play as said Warden of Time and must reunite scattered golden gears to restore the shattered chrono gear to preserve the space-time continuum from demonic corruption. This is based on a VTuber under the HoloLive banner, having an inbuilt fan base, so add in Galaxy Trails, experience with the genre, and you have something interesting. Make your way through vibrant levels using your sword and precise platforming, as well as time manipulation to defeat your enemies. You can use haste to speed yourself up, or stasis to freeze your surroundings, offering two styles of play for every level, one being speed running and the other a slower, more methodical pace as you poke around and try to find secrets. There's a hub area to return to between runs, which will be populated with HoloLive characters which you can interact with, although I don't know if there are any gameplay implications, also having great pixel art and is a no-brainer pick. I absolutely love the look of Little Problems, a cozy detective game. A game whose appeal is explained in the subtitle, where you step into the shoes of Mary, a university freshman, having to solve life's small mysteries like finding a missing assignment or locating a lost study group. You navigate hidden object scenes in settings such as dorm rooms, hallways, and libraries, collecting items like notes or schedules to piece together clues and understand everyday mishaps. There's no violence, no murder, and no grand conspiracies, just a day-in-the-life setup where solving cases here enriches human connection. The art is warm and soft, inspired by slice-of-life manga and anime, almost Korean manhwa looking instead of Japanese anime, and is very charming. We also have the release of Shape of Dreams, an action roguelite where you dive into surreal dream realms to forge your destiny, becoming the nightmare and shattering reality itself. The gimmick here is that while it looks like Hades, the controls here are straight out of a MOBA, with the ways that skills and attacks work being in a similar manner. Create your hero using over 200 memories and essences, editing skills and adding modifiers during a run to unlock devastating synergies. There will be 8 travelers or playable characters on launch, each being completely unique like in MOBAs, as you explore 8 different worlds filled with their own monsters, secrets, hazards, and challenging bosses. There is supposed to be no one best build, encouraging experimentation, having 4 difficulty levels and special lucid dream modifiers that vary up the challenge, looking pretty fun and will be for fans of the genre, also having up to 3-player co-op support, so you can call in reinforcements. A relentless sci-fi roguelite platformer is Kata Not, where you play as Not, a cyber-enhanced warrior stranded aboard a collapsing space station and must reclaim your memories while slashing through twisted once-human horrors in order to escape. You slash and dodge through procedurally generated corridors, unlocking new weapons, enhancements, and abilities via memory fragments, accumulating these over the different runs. Each attempt lets you create unique builds, focusing on melee combos or specific powerful skills, having to adapt as the station's reality warps around you. This has awesome pixel art that I'm a fan of, along with some crazy fast action, where the mixture of swords with guns is always awesome. Then add in a dose of Dead Space-like cosmic horror and you'll certainly have my attention. Speaking of space, this next title is but one of many which delayed their release due to Silksong, so I hope the strategy pays off for Starbirds, a cosmic base builder and resource management title where you guide a flock of spacefaring birds across vast asteroid fields to establish thriving mining operations and to unlock interstellar mysteries. If the art style looked familiar, that is because this is by YouTube channel Kuskasak, working with the developer of Dofromantic, so the pedigree certainly is there. You are planting your flag on procedurally generated asteroids, placing down buildings and then connecting these via hand-drawn pipes to create dynamic production networks. You mine essentials like ice and metals, automate crafting and transport via rockets, and grow your operations to support the requirements of the birds, looking so charming as well, and I honestly don't think that the developers have anything to worry about with regards to launch. Watch this video for more of the best indie games.